Hello, wonderful people. How you all doing? You are welcome to triple underscore S3. So the last time I made a couple of videos on how to take a measurement and how to state measurement. And while you are seated, at home and relax, I can assure you in this YouTube of mine, you get to learn a lot of things. So in today's video, I want to walk you through on how to take the measurement of the body. The one I did the last time was me stating a measurement. So now I want to what to actually show you how to take the measurement of someone. It's not necessary you have to be a designer before you can actually take a correct measurement. So sit down and relax while I walk you through the process. Yes, ma'am. So to start with, anytime you have the availability of having your customer around, it's necessary for you to take every details of the measurement that you want, starting from the cap, everything, so that perhaps maybe you don't have the opportunity to see your customer some other time. You can as well just what get to use the measurement you have. So to start with, in most cases, some don't measure it, but I start with that. That is the cap. So how do we measure the cap? Look at my tape here. From the starting point of this tape, you place it on the forehead of the customer head. Then you revolve the tape around the person's head. So this one closer. So over here we have the head to be the size of 22 and a half. The next thing for us to do is the neck. In some cases, as you can see, my customer over here is putting on a shirt. It won't be convenient for me to say I want to measure the shirt very well. You can as well just plead and then just loosen up this shirt so that you'll be able to measure the neck very well. Sorry, please come closer. Now, measuring the neck, you make sure that there's an allowance with the neck. Normally, we don't measure like this. You don't measure like this. Not having any space at all between the men, we don't measure. We measure this way. As you can you see the allowance in it? The allowance is up to like an inch. This is the allowance that we leave anytime we are measuring for the neck. So for the shoulder side, we start from this point here down to this point. That is how we get the shoulder. And at times we can start from the core back of this neck. You start from that point and down to this point. So let me say, for example, from that point down to this place. Over here, I'm having shoulder 16 and half. So in order for me to know if the measurement I'm measuring correspond to that, I'll check from here too as well. From this point here down to this place, I am having 17 here. So that means the one I just measured from here is not correct. So I'm having shoulder 17 here. So from this shoulder right here now, in order to get your sleeve, you put your from the beginning of the tape, you put it on the head side of this 17. You start from there, and you make sure that while you are dropping the tape, you are using your hand to hold the tape till it gets to the hand side of the person. So over here now, I have measurement of 24 and a half. Now for the body size, someone that is slim, someone that is fat is not the same measurement. So how do we go about the measurement? So in some cases, there are some of your customers that might actually come with a bogus cloth. So how do you go about it? This is the best way to measure. When you first want to measure, you start from this chest side here. And when you start, you make sure that the back of this place here, you make sure you draw this tape. Make sure you draw it up very well. And after drawing it up very well, then you come back to the measurement you are measuring. Make sure the allowance you have on the right and the left side is like 2 inches. And anytime you are measuring, you have to ask your customer, how do you want the clothes to be? Is it fitted? Should it be free or bogus? So it depends on the choice of the customer. So over here now, I just want to take the normal perfect measurement of this person. So what I'm seeing here now is 39. So as you can see, there's an allowance here. There's an allowance here. There's an allowance here. Meaning I'm taking the measurement of this body for 39. This is the body side. This is the chest. This is the body. Back in those days when we make measurement, the chest is always bigger than the body. But lately now, things has changed in fashion line. So what we do basically now is that what we use for the chest is what we use for the body and is what we use for the hip. That is for someone that has a very body slim fit. Someone that has a tummy, you can't measure that person like this. For someone that have a tummy, you just go directly to that tummy side and make sure that the allowance that you have between the tummy of that person, this your hand here, can go into the size of that table. As you can see, can you see the way I'm doing it? So if for example maybe the person has a belly, that is the method for you to use. Just make sure that you fold your hand and put it in like this. With that you get the measurement. So now the body side here, I use 39 as the body side. Over here as well, I can still use the same 39 for the body, and at the same time this is the hip side. This is the hip side. So as you can see over here on the hip side, look at the allowance beside it here, and there's an allowance here. So what you just do is you make sure that the two are corresponding. You make sure the two are corresponding, and the allowance I'm seeing on the right and the left hand side is just like 1.5 to 2 inches. So now if you want to get the length of the person, you start from this top side of the neck. You start from this top side of the neck down to, from this top side of the neck down to, look at this finger here. As far as this finger is concerned, it determines the length and the short length of the top. This one is basically used if you are starting from this neck side. If you are starting from If you are starting from this neck side here and you are bringing the tape down to this hand place, we can as well take this one from this as in the ankle of this hand as the short sleeve, and anytime the tape passes this um this finger that you are seeing, we take it as what, as a long sleeve. So now if I'm taking the measurement for this, I think the measurement for this that correspond with what I have just told you is 30 for the short sleeve. So once the tape passes that finger, we have it to be 32. So that is how to make measurement of the top.